Radio K, April 20th, 420. We got New Nova in Studio K here with us, fresh off a 5-song performance. What songs did we hear today?
All right, so the first song was Uni USA Thesis. That's the intro to my album coming out, University USA.
Okay.
Yeah, thesis statement. I always want to make a album thesis because the
Mhm.
album is kind of like my capstone project.
Kind of like an essay.
Yeah,
Oh,
the whole
wow.
album is like an essay. So that's the first song. The second song was this track 2 on the album, College Drop In. The third song we did was October 14th. Fourth song was Molly Soda. And then the fifth song was Nova Radio. Yeah.
Cool. Which one did you like performing the most? You know, a lot of them had some high energy performances there. Which one did you like the most today?
I think my most energy was Molly Soda because I practiced that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I think I never performed October 14th. And I think that's my favorite song in general I ever made.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I like that one the most. I like the weird autotune on it and everything.
Yeah, I know. It was very good. You, New Nova, actually, you know, we've seen you around at the Vanguard here. Like, what's your history with Radio K and the Vanguard? How'd you get involved?
So like I talked about a little bit in the college drop-in, I was a transfer student, so I went to Normandale Community College, where all dreams die. And that's what they tell you. That's the first thing they tell you, the land of average. I didn't say this. This is what my teacher told me. My teacher, when I told her I was going to Normandale, I went to Avid, and I still went to community college, right? I don't know how that works. But when I went to, she said, oh, you know, like Normandale's like 13th grade. I was like, what? But it was 13th grade. Because my first day at Normandale, it was everybody I see from high school was like in the same exact place. So then I was like, yeah, community college, it was a great time to learn about myself. But then I didn't like really meet a lot of new people. I was still with my high school friends. And then when I went to, so I transferred after my third year. I was supposed to transfer my second year, but that's a different story. My third year I came here, I was making a lot of music, and I was like, yo, maybe I can meet music people, yada, yada. I don't know. I had like delusions of grandeur a little bit about even university. Because I'm from the burbs, so like, I never really went to Minneapolis often, so I was like, when I go to college, my mom can't say nothing. I'm going to be in Minneapolis for class, and then I'm going to do whatever delusions of grandeur I had. So then Radio K was like, we searched up University of Minnesota music. That's the first thing that came up. And I like the colors and like the logo. It looked cool. And then I had a class in Rarick Center. And Rarick Center, I had a production class with my friend Preston. And Rarick Center is like the coolest building in the whole campus. It's like really big. It's brutalist architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So then I like that. And then Radio K also has a vending machine, and on Fridays they were giving out food, and I was like, okay, this is very clutch. So then I would just come here on Fridays, and also Fridays is my favorite day, so I always try to put good outfits on. And one thing is, if you put a lot of good outfits on, people are gonna notice you. And I'm the youngest child, so I always like the attention a little bit. So then I used to just come to Radio K, and I didn't know nobody. I would just have a nice outfit on, in my opinion. I would eat the food, and then I would just lurk for a couple months, and then eventually you just meet friends. I think the first person that talked to me for real was DJ Envy.
Shout out DJ Envy.
Big ups. But
in the booth right now.
Yeah, but then it was Vanguard. I like Vanguard because I feel like hip hop is the best genre in the world, and like hip hop, I love all genres, but I feel like you could listen to hip hop only and be still entrenched with music. You know, I feel like hip hop is like the most diverse genre. And the culture, that's like what I was raised on, basically. It's like my whole life is based off hip-hop. So I was drawn to Vanguard, and the people, they were my people, and they were really nice to me, so I just stuck around.
Yeah, cool. You keep mentioning University USA. You, I heard you're going to have some, like, people talking on it. Tell us about this new project here.
Okay, so University USA, I never dropped the full album before, right? And then I was like, when I went to the U, I was like, let me go back. When I recorded music before, I had to record when my brother was gone. And like making music is a little taboo in my household. Not in my household, just my culture. So I had to wait till everybody left. And then my brother wasn't even a hater, but he just like, don't be in my room, right? And also I don't like him knowing anything about my life. So I would make music kind of in secret when he would go on trips. That's when I would go like crazy because he would go. I remember one time right before I went to the University of Minnesota. This is a convoluted answer, but right before I went to the University of Minnesota, So I had like he won like a 16-day trip to Europe, and I made 100 songs there, and that's when I had like a decent mic. I used to always rap on a USB-C mic, and I invested in myself with $100. Like the only $100 I got fired from my job. I failed my driver license test for like the fourth time. I was like hella depressed. I didn't leave my room for like 18 days, and then the 16 days came, and then that was the most fun I ever had. And I was like, when I get to the U, I have a microphone. I'm just gonna carry my backpack. I'm gonna find somewhere to record. I thought it would be like a studio or something. There was studios, but they weren't hidden. There's a studio in Rary, but eventually I found a library. That's why I record my music in the library. So every
Mm-hmm.
song I recorded for like the last 2 years has always been in the library and Wilson Library mostly. And
What about the, one floor under us?
yeah, yeah, you talking about Rarick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to record in Rarick first, but Rarick was like they had workers there, and the thing about the workers is like they loved when I get to the studio because they thought that they just didn't have to work, which was fire. I love that for them. But then I was like trying to make them my engineer and stuff. They weren't liking that. I was trying to get. I did teach Johnny. Shout out to Johnny. He engineered one of my songs 2 months into college. He engineered that one. He didn't know what he was doing, but we made it together. And they had limits where you only can record for 2 hours and you had to reserve it, and someone's watching you, and the microphone wasn't even as good as my microphone. So I was like, library is way better, you know. But so to answer your question, my first whatever my junior year, my first year at the U, I was just making music and they had like no theme. And the reason I even like music was I always attracted to the idea of like an album. You know, that's like my favorite media form
Mm-hmm.
in the whole world. I think it's better than a movie. A good album is better than a good movie, better than anything, right? So I always wanted to make albums. That's how when I first started making music, I was making albums. I wasn't making music, but I was making albums. Like the music was terrible, but I was making cover art, and I had like themes, and I had like stretched up YouTube person talking, and you know what I mean. I had like interludes, but the music wasn't good. So it took me like 3 years just to get better at music. And then when I got last year, I was just making a bunch of songs that had no really theme. This year, I wanted to make a theme, and the idea for the University USA came from. So I actually have an idea for all like the next like 4 albums, whatever, if I get to make those. But I wanted them. The album I always had in my idea. This idea I always had in my head for years was this album called Suburbia USA, because I'm from the suburbs, and I always just liked how they roll out. Suburbia is like my favorite word. Suburban, suburbia. So I was like Suburbia USA. That sounds like it could be anything. It sounded like it could be like a Lana Del Rey album name. So I was rocking with that, and then I was like, but then that's like one I really wanted to make so bad. But I was like, I can't like force that. That's gotta be like, you know what I mean? That's like a album you gotta spend years on, I guess, right? So, I was like, it'd be fire if you had an album. Like I spent this whole year. I gave myself I never dropped a project. I'm like, this whole year I'm gonna spend it on making one project, one theme, University USA. So after that will be Suburbia USA, and then I have a third album I want to call War USA. So Suburbia USA, that rolls off the tongue better. But Suburbia USA, I want it to be like nostalgic. I kind of want to talk about my childhood, stuff like that. You know, War, I want that to be. I don't want to say political because I'm not. I'm not like. I'm not like the most like smartest person on that. But just the aggression of like political music. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where the Mali soda came from. I like the idea. You know, like I'm Somali, I'm Muslim, I'm black. And I'm talkative, so I'm like the worst person in America, you know. Like I got the biggest target on my back, but I like that, like using that as like a weaponizing that. So I always wanted to make an album like that. And then the fourth album I wanted to call Nova World, so it's not USA, but that's gonna be my magnum opus. Then I'm retire, and I'm gonna work a county job or something. But so the University USA, that one was like a challenge to myself because I was like, I'm the biggest Kanye fan in the world, unfortunately. And then College Dropout, that's his first album. I love like the arc of his albums, even like, because it tells the story of his like whatever life a little bit, and it's like, it's like he descends into madness every time. But he starts off as like the everyman, you know. He starts off as like the people's champion,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that origin, you know, relatable music. The biggest rappers in the world, Future is like the greatest rapper in the world, right? But Future's not relatable. So Future has like the most hits, but Future will never have like the core fan base that like the biggest rappers in the world, Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, old Kanye. These are all like relatable artists. You know what I mean? So everyone, like, you think of a rapper, you think of like someone that's like talking about trapping, talking about killing people, all that. And but those artists are never the biggest artists in the world, you know? So I always think like vulnerability, relatability, and telling your story. That would be the best for you. But it was a challenge for me because I don't really like those type of those beats as much. My favorite artist is Lil Uzi, and I love like that colorful, happy, you know what I mean? But this one, I was trying to tell a story. It had to be more lyrical. I'm not really a lyrical artist, but it was a challenge, and it was like, I gotta hop on like soul samples, pay homage to Kanye on that way, College Dropout. But also, I'm like, his album came out 2004. I was born 2004. I can't recreate 2004. But I think that was a good basis. I wanted to, so my goal for the album, I'm rambling, but my goal for the album was I wanted to have, like the soul sample, the rapping, lyrical story, relatable. I wanted the music to be grounded. So I thought University USA grounded. I thought Suburban USA nostalgic, like soft, you know. War that's gonna be aggressive in your face, and then Nova USA that's gonna be like my type of music, like in your face, experimental, colorful. So I was like, this one gotta be grounded. Every song gotta be grounded in something, and it gotta have a topic. So yeah, so I wanted the soul samples. I wanted a little bit of like indie kind of vibe, you know. I don't know, match Minneapolis. The three things is college, my home life, and then Minneapolis, you know. But yeah,
Are these projects all gonna be tied together in kind of like a, you know, not a trilogy, a quad?
college, yeah,
Quad, I don't know, what is it called? Quadrilogy?
yeah. Somewhere I want all the album covers to be a flag,
Okay.
and then have their own colors. But then I love the idea of flags. You know, like obviously Stay Konya, ASAP Rocky, Pink Tape. Flags is the coolest thing in the world. You know what I mean? I just learned about all these other flags the other day.
You had some in your video. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that I had the Somalia flag is fire to me because my favorite thing in the world, my favorite symbol in the world is a star, and that's why even my name New Nova, it comes from like Nova, a star, you know. So I love the star, and then the Minnesota flag. I mean, it was because of Molly Soda. I love the idea of Minnesota. Like those memes when you know, when they had like the hate campaign, like Nick Shirley and Donald Trump, every time about how Somalia like ruined Minnesota. I kind of love that idea, you know, the idea that like we invaded Minnesota, especially because Minnesota's seen as like a Minnesota nice, like, you know, they let us in, which is true. They let us in with welcome arms. I don't want to get too deep into it, but if you know like the psychology of a Somali person, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. But flags are beautiful. My first mixtape I ever dropped, Noose's Noise, that one was like I made the flag, the Minnesota flag, but I just had Noose's Noise on it. But I never got to print that. But yeah.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. You mentioned earlier 100 songs in how many days? Wow. Well, how do you get that type of worth ethic?
16 days. Okay, so I'm Muslim, right? So when Ramadan comes around, you're not really supposed to listen to music. And then my loophole, which is very stupid, I basically just did it, but there's like my favorite artists in the world, Cardi, Uzi, Juice WRLD, these type of artists, they're known for leaks. Like their release catalog got nothing to do with their unreleased catalog. Artists like Juice WRLD, he only was popular for like 2 years. They leaked everything, and then once they leaked everything, they started leaking the studio sessions. No, they started leaking the days when they got recorded. So an average Juice WRLD fan would be like, "Yo, what was your favorite Juice WRLD day? Like, do you like the song where he recorded 6 songs in a day, December 24th, 2018? They don't know this, right? So I love that idea because that's just like, I think that's like a beautiful part about their music is just like, they're not like overthinking it. I never liked when the music is like a 5-day, 6-day process. Obviously, like if you're like Stevie Wonder or something, that's beautiful. But like, I don't think that's like people like us. I don't want to group myself in these people, but that's not our purpose in music, I don't think. But Juice WRLD, so in Ramadan, they used to leak studio sessions. So there's like a Lil Uzi Exo Tour Life studio session where they leaked like the whole audio file of him making the song, so the whole hour. And that taught me the idea of punching in. So most fans think that rappers just like record like just in one take, you know what I mean? Like they come in there and whatever they're doing, if they're selling drugs in their hand, they come in the studio and they just start rapping all in one take. And that's like the idea you have. But people don't know like the technicality. Even like, it's funny because Lil Wayne would always used to say, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, I don't write my raps. It sounds really cool. I like saying that too. But it's because they're punching in. When you punch in, you don't write. You just do one line at a time. So I watch these videos and I see like my favorite songs ever, EXO Tour Life, Cardi songs, Juice WRLD songs, Future songs, the Young Thug songs. You see the whole process of it. And 90% of the lines they do are terrible, but you only keep one. You know, that's the beautiful part about music.
Yeah.
Sports is a live thing. If you mess up today, it's bad. Like a musician, you have a whole year to make an album, and you get to pick all your highlights. You know, so I love that about music, but also I hate that about music. That's why I wish artists would drop like 1,000 songs, because just drop everything. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I came up with the work. I think, I mean, once you punch it, it gets a lot faster. The music, just making the music is a lot faster. And then also because I didn't have any time, like the 16 days, after 16 days were up, I was not going to be able to make music. So my whole life was music. I slept in my brother's room. I woke up and the Olympics were on. I would turn on the Olympics and I would just make music. Until my friends came, then they would make music. And then when they left, I would hop on the songs we just made, go to sleep and do it over again. I was very unemployed. But yeah, so that's where that's where the work ethic came from, I guess, because like I didn't have. It's not like I could just go on my desktop and just start recording anytime I want. It's like you have to be motivated today. Some people like they wait for motivation, inspiration. Like I didn't have a choice. I had to be motivated today, you know, because it's not gonna be here tomorrow. And then you know, Malcolm Gladwell. I don't even like his books, but my brother loves Malcolm Gladwell, and you know, like the idea that you gotta put 10,000 hours if you want to be good at anything. So like every day is like you gotta put in the effort, you know.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. You were talking about the studio sessions and stuff, and you mentioned Uzi. I wonder, have you seen that one video of him making EXO Tour Live? It's like, it's a studio session.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
Yeah, that's what he was talking. Yeah, no,
yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I love.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that whole process.
It's so crazy, and also like it tells you the engineers are so important though. Like a lot of these artists, they got it easy. Not to hate on them, but it's just like they just come in and they don't even know what the engineer is doing to them, you know. But at the same time, it's like when I saw like a lot of my friends, they rap and like I'm like the engineer, and like when you first start rapping, everyone does this where when they make a mistake, they just like, especially when you're around somebody, it's like you have to explain the mistake. Like even if any artist, they make like 10 mistakes before they get the right take, you know. So you gotta just do it. That's what I learned from watching the Uzi video. You just do it over, run it back. And that's the issue when I go to studios or engineers. Like I say, run it back, and they don't be running it back.
Yeah, it's very important to have that engineer artist connection. Who engineers you mainly? Is it just you?
I don't. Yeah, I just do everything. I'm not doing it by myself, but I record on my computer.
Wow.
I don't have an engineer, but that's fast. It's low-key faster that way because like you made up. Like the engineer doesn't know you made a mistake until you tell him run it back. Me, like I could just, it's like instantaneous. So I love doing that. But for my friends, I engineer for them. I'm not really Actually, I guess I am, but my friends, they make, like I have friends that make vocal like presets and effects. I never made my own. So big ups Preston. He be always, I just steal his, edit a couple of things. But yeah, I guess I engineer myself, but not really. I'm not really doing much.
Cool. Yeah. Well, moving on. I took one look at your page. I see you have like a lot of music videos and stuff. What's your like inspirations with your videos, your visuals that you use with your songs?
I mean, also nowadays, like, the easiest thing to do on Instagram is like just post a music video. That's like the easiest way to get like, I don't want to say attention, but like present yourself. You know what I mean? But then the idea of music videos, my homie Preston, bro, we used to shoot music videos and never release them. It's still on the internet, but this video I made in high school 2022 is called Welcome to Our Planet. But that was the first music video I ever shot. And Preston's like really good behind the camera with film and stuff. So that's where I got all the ideas for music videos. Because he would just shoot them and never do anything with them, you know? He would shoot his own videos. Like he would be recording it on a tripod and nobody's there, you know, in the middle of a jungle, not jungle, what's the word for it? Woods, you know? But other than that, it's like, I guess inspiration is like Chief Keef music videos. He used to be on house arrest, you know? I don't like the idea of like, I guess that's like you know, they be saying that like pop stars, like they have to have like a very, and it matches their character. Like, they have to have like very elaborate music videos. And those are very nice to watch. But I think like I like the idea of just like these rappers like Chief Keef, they just make a song and then they just shoot the video inside their house, you know, and all the videos kind of look the same. But I didn't even know the power of one of my editors, he's from Philly, his name's Comp. He's like the best editor in the world. And then he made me fall in love with like graphic video effects, all that type of stuff. He's so fire.
Did he edit Molly Soda?
Now that one was this dude named Cosmo. That that when I had to tell him like the history of Somalia, I had to like give him a bunch of lore. I was like, yo, you have to become Somali for this song. So he did a good job. He's like 18, 17, big ups though.
That it was fire.
A lot of these editors, they don't be from America.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a different time zone thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a really bad sleep schedule, so it works out perfectly.
I love that. Speaking of being involved with the Vanguard before, this is actually not your first time being on this mic.
Mm-hmm.
You were in the Cypher, the
Yeah.
2026 Vanguard Cypher.
Big
Tell
ups.
us about that. How'd it go for you? You know.
It went well. I liked my verse. I thought I had the best verse.
Oh yeah.
But I like
You had the longest verse as well.
Yeah. But that's like big ups. But like I was not finished. Yeah, I was not done.
He's not done.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I could have went on forever. I used to love like my favorite freestyles or ciphers. I was watching Joe Budden. I was trying to be a real rapper. I thought we were gonna do some real rap stuff. So I was watching a bunch of Joe Budden ciphers, Slaughterhouse, and that's like the only real rap ciphers I like. Cause like that's like their thing, you know, that's their battlefield. But my favorite freestyles is Riff Raff freestyle, On Sway in the Universe, Ray Shrimmer, Migos. Like they just off the top. Obviously Juice WRLD did like hour-long freestyles. I think those are I like the idea of off the dome freestyles way more than like it's like cool that you memorize something, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Black Thought did that too. Black Thought, he probably memorized it, but Black Thought freestyle, I don't know, Fun Flex, that's the greatest freestyle in the history of music. So I was inspired by that, but then part of me was like, obviously, when you think of Cypher, you think of 2016 XSL Cypher, which my GOAT Uzi had the best verse, you know what I mean? Because he laid the groundwork. Everybody was so nervous, you could tell. Like Lil Yachty, I'm trying not to curse, but Lil Yachty, he was try hard and he was so nervous, you know what I mean? Uzi, he liberated that Cypher. So I was trying to do that, I guess, but I didn't do that. But yeah, Birdman's hilarious. I love all the artists. 1400 Volumes is a great artist. Estonia, he was singing. IB, he was British. Big ups though. Who's the other? Am I missing somebody? Amir.
Amir, yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's history though.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I gotta do more.
Oh, yeah. How much of that was like a freestyle, like on the spot freestyle?
So I was scared, bro. So I took from two songs. There's one song I got on my SoundCloud mixtape. It's called it's called something in Japanese I can't pronounce, but it's really called translates to Crazy Capture, and that one's like real rap song. It got like crazy like real live drums, and it's from like a Japanese song, a sample, and that song is like my favorite song because I was rapping with so much aggression, and that was like the 16 days. My grandma never bothered me, but it was 5 a.m. and I was screaming, and then she was like, "Shut up!" So I love that song. And then another song I wrote for the open. I didn't write it, but I came up with it for the open mic. It's called Open Mic. So that song's about like Kaufman open mics, and that one I'm not gonna release it, but it's a remix over the Childish Gambino song, which is also a name I can't pronounce. It's Japanese and some name I can't pronounce. But he dropped that right before Because of the Internet. It wasn't on Because of the Internet, but I love that beat so much. So like I remixed that, and but everything else was a freestyle. Once you get like the first like 8 bars in, it's just really easy to rap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also one thing I'll say is the other day I was on a Twitch stream. I was on a 4-way Twitch stream where there's 4 streamers streaming all at once. And actually, it was at Rivik Studio. And then there's a TikToker, her name is Jamila, that's my friend. She's a better freestyler than me. She's not a rapper yet, but we're working on that. But soon there'll be like a video on the internet. She was freestyling for like 25 minutes, 30 minutes on this like Pharrell beat. That was crazy. But big ups, Okage, YG Nation, stand up.
Cool. All right, moving on. I see the mask you're wearing. I've seen you wearing it at some of your performances at the Cypher. What's the story behind that and the helmet?
So the original
see the
plan.
helmet in the back there.
Yeah. So my original thing was I bought the helmet before I even had the idea for a rapper. So when I was rapping, but I never had a name or nothing, right? So the reason I bought the helmet is because 2023 was the year of fit pics. I was just getting fit pics in. I thought I was gonna be like an influencer on Instagram or something, and that was the first time I had like a real job. So every time I was just focused on picking outfits, right? And then one thing I realized was like when you do a photo shoot, you have a mask, you have some type of shiesty mask, whatever, it's so much better because you don't have to do your hair. You don't even have to do your face. When I had the helmet, I don't even have to wash my face or anything. Not saying, not condoning that, but you could just like, you know, you could just wake up, put the helmet on, take the photos, go home, take a nap. You don't have to like take a you know, you don't have to take like a 2 hour prep for the photo shoot. So that's part of the reason why I started liking headwear. And I just like, I don't know, my dream's always like one day, just like, I don't know, wear a mask. You don't have to be perceived, I guess. But the helmet thing was also because I was going to Saudi Arabia and it's like an Islamic pilgrimage and they were shaving my head bald. So I was like, I gotta get this fit pick off, but I gotta not show my hair. And I never was a fan of beanies, fedoras, hats. I never really liked those. So I was like, the helmet is perfect swag because you could just cover my whole, you know what I mean? And the outfit on you gotta be that crazy if you got the helmet. I'm like, I was trying to push the envelope of my suburban Somali friend photo shoots. So the helmet, where I got the inspiration for the helmet was Frank Ocean, Boys Don't Cry, Blonded magazine. He was wearing the helmet. I'm like, that's so hard. You know what I mean? And obviously like Daft Punk, stuff like that. Shout out to all the mask artists, MF Doom, of course. So that's where I got the inspiration for the helmet. The only reason I got the mask is because I realized if I had to do shows or if I was even music videos, like I can't have a helmet when I'm doing a show because they can't hear me and it'll be hot as hell. So hot as heck. So that's why I got the mask thing. And I wasn't even really a fan of this mask because like I look for every type of headwear. If I can make like if I was a designer or whatever, the only thing I would do is create headwear. I think that's like the greatest frontier that people haven't done. Like we need crazy headwear. We need like people, you know what I mean? It's a lot of expression that could be done with headgear, headwear. I wish I could just wear like a football helmet every day, you know? But this thing is like whatever. It's like a bootleg of Kanye Yeezus tour Mason Margiela mask, like 2013, 2014. These are really reflective of all that. It was a lot of money, so it wasn't that bootleggy, but I was like, bro, I needed to do something with show. And part of the reason is because I can't show my face all the way because my biggest fear is like people, I don't want to be seen. TikTok, you know how TikTok, Instagram, all this stuff is. Like my aunties going to see it as my pure face. And it's like not even about the taboo religious thing, but it's also just like I like being like myself when I'm with my family. You know what I mean? I don't want to, you know, I used to hate that. I remember my brother caught my Instagram account, Prince Honeybun. When he caught that, I went to eat and everybody's like clowning me like, yo, I just want to eat my food in peace. You know what I mean? I don't want to explain my Instagram photos. So yeah, I think the mask part is cool. I could tell you some fake, deep, woke reasons, like really I'm trying to make it about the music, but part of it was swag. Second was hiding my identity from my mom.
Cool. Earlier you mentioned, I don't think it was on the microphone, but you mentioned that albums are your favorite piece of media. What's your like favorite albums? Where do you draw your most inspiration from?
I've been glazing. I was just saying my list. Let me pull it up one more time because this is actually a decent list. But my favorite albums, a lot of them are pretty recent, just because, like a lot, you know, people like be like Illmatic's their favorite album, which Illmatic's a great album, but it's like, you know what I mean? You don't feel the same connection. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know about nothing about the '90s in New York, whatever. But my favorite album, so the album that made me like want to start making music, of course, obviously Kanye. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, then Love Is Rage 2, Lil Uzi Vert. That album meant a lot to me because that's when I became Uzi. That's when I became the idea of an album meaning so much. Like it was, you know, all these artists now they put the name out and they don't release it for a year, and there's 1,000 snippets. That was the first album for me that had that. So I was listening to all the snippets. There's a post on my Instagram because if you scroll, you'll see like I was so hyped for Love Is Rage 2, and it delivered and it dropped when I was in London, and it was so far. It dropped the same day as a lot of albums, Brockhampton. ASAP Mob, XXXTentacion. So August 25th, that was a special day. Then Trilogy, The Weeknd, that was partly because, and I won't even say Trilogy, I'll say House of Balloons, but that's partly because my brother was really early. My brother was always early on everything. He was really early to The Weeknd, and back when he was like anonymous, I know you know that, he was faceless, whatever. And House of Balloons is like perfect, you know? And I was a big Michael Jackson fan. I remember it was like, he sounds like the next Michael Jackson. On Trilogy, they had the Dirty Diana remix. Then, so yeah, Trilogy's like, whatever, that's a perfect album to me.
You got House of Balloons over Echoes.
Yeah, House of Balloons is over
Thursday.
everything. I think I got House of Balloons Thursday, then Echoes. I know all the real Weeknd fans be like, Echoes is the best.
I like Thursday the most.
Thursday is amazing
Yeah.
too. I can never like the cover was kind of crazy though. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then same thing. J. Paul's Bait Ones, the leak. That's also just the idea of like internet music, leaks coming out. You know, just the lore of that album. I think the lore contributes to a lot, and it's like when you listen to it, you feel cool as heck, whatever. And it's like my brother was on that early too. So a lot of this stuff is just like I'm only hearing this from my brother, and then a lot of things is like my brother's early on stuff, and then it became like you're on the weekend, and the weekend became like the biggest artist in the whole world. You know, everything panned out. It's crazy, except for Ram Riddles, but big ups to Ram Riddles. And then I mean I have to of course mention Whole Lotta Red, even though the people be glazing the album. I love Whole Lotta Red. It's definitely Cardi's best album. But similar album to that, which I love a lot too, is Spirit of Ecstasy. Not Spirit of Ecstasy. Life in Hell by Lancey Foe. Spirit of Ecstasy, one of my favorite songs. I love that album. It's like damn near right next to a Whole Lot of Red for me. You know what I mean? And also that's one thing. My other brother was really early on Lancey Foe. He used to pick me up from freshman year of high school. We used to play not freshman year, sophomore year of high school. Play Friend of Foe, that album. Which I can never say, people think that album's better, but I can never say it's better just because my brother's putting me on. Like, Life in Hell, I was like, that's my album, you know? That album was incredible. Like, you don't get its due. But then, hold on, let me name a couple more. 'Cause I just wrote this down recently. Yeah, 454, Fast Tracks 3. That's a great album, too. That album, the other album before that, For Real, that album I used to listen to every day when I used to work at Walmart. I was doing self-checkout. I was sneaking one AirPod, and I would drink this pink Mountain Dew every day, and I would listen to that album because it's like a mix, you know? And then Fast Tracks 3 got one of my favorite songs, Tale of the Hood. I love that song. I love like pitched up music. I love transitions on the album. So that album's special to me. Then very random is same thing. When I used to work at Walmart. There's this artist named Koi. He made this album. It's like a plug and B. I don't even like plug and B music, but he made this album called Trial and Error, and it came out 2022. And I always liked Koi, but like, not like it was kind of like he was like the Justin Bieber of rap, of underground rap, but not underground rap. You know, he was like a poster boy. But plug and B, when he got that plug and B album, Trial and Error, that album was amazing. And I used to work at Walmart, and I said I'm the only person ever to say let me push carts. And it was the coldest winter ever. So I was pushing carts every day listening to that Trial and Error by Koi. And that album is so winter vibes. And Transition Perfect. So I just had like a personal reverence to that song because when I'm working, I only listen to the same albums, you know? So, and then other than that, I mean, obviously classic albums like Lauryn Hill, Miseducation. Like I love Michael Jackson. I don't know if I have like one album that's like my favorite. I say History, but that's just because like that's my album, you know. It's just like how Michael Jackson fans say Invincible is their favorite album. They know that's not his best album. But same thing with like a Tupac or something.
Cool.
That's
Oh
it.
wait, is that it?
No, for that question.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for sharing. I see, like I mentioned before, I saw you wearing that mask at a couple performances. Where have you performed? What's your like favorite venue around here?
So my first ever performance was like next to like a beach, and I recorded. It was terrible, it went awful. It wasn't like a real show because the guy sent me coordinates, and then I guess I put in the wrong coordinates. I came like 15 minutes late, and I just performed in front of like his 5 friends. But I have to pay homage. That's my first ever performance, and that was in September. And then I had another show in September. That was in Acadia. I was opening for some rappers in Montana. I don't know how they toured here, but then I had another show in Acadia in October. And then I had a show in Pillar. I think that was my favorite show ever. Pillar, November 28th. My homie Meezy. We rehearsed for that. That was like the first time we rehearsed. We had auto-tune. Meezy, he modeled me. He had like the lights. He had like the 2 Hollis lights where he had it like time synced up perfectly. So he went crazy. And I was his sound guy. All I did was change the auto-tune keys. I wasn't doing much. But that show was special. And then that was the first time I ever got paid from a show.
Wow.
So I was like, damn, I didn't even know I was getting paid. I was like, appreciate that. And then I had another show in Pillar. So I had 2 shows Pillar, 2 shows Acadia. I recently had a house show. That might be my favorite too. I did a house show with this for this band named Vega. At their house in the garage. It was really fire. My homie November performed too. My homies were there. They were Twitch streaming. too. They all were wearing matching like frog hats, and they got lit. Like it was artificial. I love when I have artificial hype. Like they were like my assigned people in the crowd. They were telling people what to do in the crowd. You know.
Love that.
So it looked like I had motion. I had this fake
no,
motion.
everyone needs that.
Yeah, 100%.
Love that. I think you're forgetting one though. Where you remember where we met?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that, but I don't. So yeah, my first ever performing ever was open mics at the Kaufman, at Kaufman, and that's where I met you. So yeah, October, it might have been like October 14th too, 2024. I pulled up. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I was trying to I was not gonna do the autotune, right? I was not gonna do that, but then I remember I'm not gonna name drop, but then I remember I told my homies to pull up, and then no, I didn't tell my homies to pull up. My homies called me. I remember you saw my homies. My homies called me. They're like, "What's the word tonight?" And I didn't have the heart to lie to them. So I was like, "Yo, pull up." And they're like, "Oh, we pulling up." They thought I was like I had a show. I'm just a guest. So I'm doing open mics, and people are there. There's one girl was singing with guitar. She was amazing. There's a bunch of amazing artists, and I was like, "Damn, I gotta go next." And then I had like technical difficulty. It was terrible. But you showed me love. You said I did good.
Of course, no, it was fire. Everyone,
I was the only rapper.
Yeah, no, all the performances for you, they're just very soft, and they just had like the guitar.
Yeah, but they were fire though.
Yeah, no, they were fire. Yeah, I'm just saying. But then
I had energy, right?
As soon as you showed up on the stage, I was like, wow, this is a whole.
Yeah. I didn't even know my lyrics at all. I was like, oh,
yeah, and then I saw your friends in the crowds.
Yeah, they did bring energy.
Yeah, no, they did. It was fire.
Shout out to my homie Destiny. It's kind of random because I don't really see him often. I don't think I ever seen him ever since that day.
Oh, really?
But he was DJing. Cause Destiny don't pop out the house, bro. Destiny is he's like an R&B artist, but he don't release nothing. He had a beautiful voice. So he was like, I'm not gonna put him on blast. But shout out to Destiny. He was my DJ, sound guy there. That was so funny. It was just so funny. I love like that, like breaking like the fourth wall a little bit. Like
I loved it.
But yeah, I remember. Shout out to Danya. She was the first performer, I think. She was really good with the guitar. She be doing shows now. I remember one time I pulled up to open mic. It was January of that year. I pulled up because I wanted to be a spectator. Like I was like as if I'm like an industry scout, like by the side of somebody. I was standing like this, right? Because also I hated it when I performed. Everybody's just on their Mac doing their homework, which I respect. But it's like I felt so embarrassed. It's kind of like a humiliation ritual. So I wanted to just show love. And then she went first that time again. And then she was like, "Could you record for me?" And I was like, I didn't have a car at the time. I had to hit the bus. If I don't make the 8:09 bus, I have to wait till 9:14 bus. I was like, all right, I'll record for you. And then she was like, yo, you're on the list, right? I was like, what? I didn't know I was on the list. I forgot I signed up. So then I went up, I went up like 5th, and I was not ready at all. But that one went a lot better. And I think that gave me confidence. I was like, oh, I can actually do this if I'm not stressing and if I don't invite my friends. But shout out to the Kaufman. Shout out to Kaufman Open Mics. I did a couple this year too. One time there's one that I didn't record at all, which I missed, but it was like low-key the best performance I ever did.
Oh, really?
It was Aura too. I just ran off. I walked off stage. I didn't say nothing. I didn't know nobody there. It's a bunch of freshmen. But big ups.
Love that. Well, to wrap up here, any people you want to shout out? Any last words to your audience?
Yeah, shout out to my professors. Shout out to Meg. She's my professor right now. I missed class. She failed me last semester, so I'm hoping she don't fail me again. Shout out to my professors. Shout out to my homies. They be rapping. Shout out to Misery Heaven. That's my homie Preston. Made by Me. That's Malachi. Those are my favorite artists, like generally, and those are my two of my best friends. Obviously Lil Hashy. AMA, all my friends are rappers and they're all really good. They don't really post. Other than that, shout out to Glow Bands. That's my favorite rapper too. There's a lot of great artists in Minneapolis. But University USA coming out end of April. I still gotta finish. I gotta mix it myself. But it should be done April 30th. Let's say that. By the time this video comes out, you know when this video coming out?
What's the date? I gotta say two weeks.
Yeah, perfect. So by the time this video come out, I promise it'll be out. I got a mixtape coming out like in 2 days called Before University like Travis Scott homage, Days Before Rodeo, and then Yeah, a lot of videos on the way, a lot of shows. I'm gonna say this on camera because I want to manifest it. I want to host my own show for the first time, and I want it to be my grad party. I want like a new Nova grad party,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know where I'm gonna do it. I might just do it in Burnsville. I don't know, but I want to perform at my own grad party.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that happens May 15th. I'm graduating. I'm out of here. Shout out to Radio K, Vanguard. Shout out to Arrkay. Yeah, that's all I had to say.
Shout out to you. It was amazing.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.